Take her. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. Its daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by Everwood Treatment Company, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. Everwood, wood treated right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Alabama baseball completed a opening weekend sweep of the Bradley Braves on Sunday. Here are post-game thoughts from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Rob Vaughn.
Obviously just really happy with the way the guys got after it this weekend. Especially today, you've had 2 pretty nice weather days for baseball, and then you come out today, and my goodness, it felt like a day in College Park for us. It was a chilly, windy day, and kept getting colder, and man, they rang the bell all day. Just consistent at bats. Every guy coming out of the pen kind of doing their job. So just really happy with the effort. I thought it was a complete weekend. Good to get out there and play a different jersey for a couple days, and so now get some rest and turn our attention to Middle Tennessee for Tuesday. They did their job and signed uncomfortable conditions and did it at a really high level. And that's what they should do. That's what they're talented enough to do it. They're mentally focused enough to do it. And they ran off a good plan today. So really happy with their approach. And you could feel it. Second I walked on the field for BP, I knew we were fine.
I'll have more in a moment.
Producing championship quality lumber is not an easy process, but at Everwood Preserving, it's our only process. Wood treated right. Everwood offers top-notch pressure-treated wood for decks, outdoor structures, commercial jobs, and more that you can build your reputation on. When it comes to quality, we're on the winning team. Visit your local Everwood dealer today and discover the difference for yourself. Everwood Preserving Incorporated, the official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Tide baseball against Middle Tennessee. First pitch at Sewell Thomas Stadium is scheduled for 4 p.m. Central, with our coverage on the network beginning at 3:45 p.m. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Everwood. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
We're back. We're live. We're brand new. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, welcome in. 7 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed. 30 degrees out there in the Tennessee Valley. We should hit a high of 48 today. Now, of course, they're calling for a wintry mix tomorrow. So just make sure you stay weather aware. 256-576-4977. That's how you can join the program this morning on a Tuesday. High school basketball still taking center stage. Northwest Regionals, Northeast Regionals. Action continuing today. In fact, from the Northwest Regional at Wallace State Hansville, they're going to put the final touches on all of the regional action today. You're going to get your 7A girls final at 9 a.m., and then you've got your 7A boys final at 10:45, your 6A girls final at 12:30, your 6A boys final at 2:15, and then you have your 4A girls and boys finals at 4 and 5:45. Now, action from the Northwest Regional yesterday. 5A, 2A, and 1A were on the hardwood. Scottsboro and 5A girls, they are to the Final Four. They get a 71-53 win over Arab. And then on the boys' side in 5A, it was Gunnersville over Brewers 63-54. Class 2A play, Decatur Heritage makes it a clean sweep. Decatur Heritage and girls get a win over Cold Spring 61-41. And then on the boys' side, Decatur Heritage over Tanner 68-50. And then in 1A play, it was Brilliant over Marion County 46-43. And Hubbardville got a win over Meek. Now, that was action from the Northwest Regional. Northeast Regional over at Jack State looked like this. Well, here is today's action. You're going to get your 3A final, your 2A final, and your 1A final. There is a lot of basketball left at the Northeast Regional. Northwest Regional, they'll be all done today. Your 3A girls finals at 9 a.m., your 3A boys finals at 10:45. And then at 12:30 is your 2A girls final. 2:15, your 2A boys final. That's Pisgah and Section. Pisgah and North Sand Mountain is your 2A girls final. Sylvania and Piedmont is your 3A girls final. And Piedmont and Glencoe is your 3A boys final. And then you get your 1A girls final at 3 o'clock. That is Eider and Spring Garden. And then at 4:45 is your 1A boys final. Now, that is the action going on today from the Northeast Regional. Yesterday, this is how all the action played out. You had your 6A girls semifinal. Congratulations to Fort Payne. They get by Homewood 53-38. The upset of the day was in 7A girls as Albertville gets a 43-40 win over Vestavia Hills in 7A girls play. So they are into the 7A final, regional final. Your 7A boys, we previewed it yesterday. Huntsville does get a 79-57 win over Vestavia Hills last night.
Yeah, it was a heck of a comeback, by Albertville. They did an amazing job. It was, Vestavia led by 3 at the end of the third, made a little bit of a push, hit a big open 3 to go up 38-30, but then a huge rally and punch back by Albertville. Went down, got a bucket, then hit a huge 3 from the corner to make it 38-35, and it was basically nip and tuck the rest of the way, and Albertville in the last 2 minutes finally getting over the hump to retake the lead. Vestavia missed a shot in the lane. They thought they got fouled. No call. Too bad. And and unfortunately, Vestavia's ladies fell short. But it was a great rally by Albertville. Who they've done a great job under a first year head coach who had Coach Smallwood had a great pedigree there. She'd done a great job winning a state championship at Susan Moore and building that into one of the better 4A programs in the state. And she's done a really good job of jump starting Albertville. They win 7A Area 7 and do it in impressive fashion at the buzzer against Sparkman, and then get that win yesterday. Probably the biggest win in a long time for the Albertville ladies. And now they get a chance to go up against the Goliath known as Crystal Johnson and the Hoover Lady Bucks. But
yeah, they got a win over Sparkman yesterday, 79-47.
Right.
No surprise. The other 7A girls semifinal.
But I will give everybody a trivia question. How many students do you think made the trip from Hoover to watch both of their girls and boys teams play yesterday over at the Palatial Pete Matthews Coliseum?
I'm going to say 30.
You're not warm.
Not even warm. Am I if I go 25, am I colder or hotter?
You're still not warm.
10?
You're getting warmer.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Really?
Any caller that wants to guess, what's Tahad Pettiford's number for Auburn?
Wow. That response that is.
Yeah, just look up Tahad Pettiford's jersey number.
That's all that showed up.
Yeah. It's called this. 0.
Yeah.
Now, Albertville, shout out. tremendous.
Yeah, I saw some of that video. Vestavia Hills,
yeah.
Albertville. I mean, that place looked packed.
Vestavia had a pretty decent turnout too.
That place looked packed.
To be honest, I mean, I've been with Huntsville now 5 years. Coach Schweers is his year 7. Huntsville had a really nice turnout too from the students, and that's the norm.
Right.
But yesterday was President's Day. There was no school. But I'll be honest, I've done stats for a long time. Everybody knows that as well at Wallace State, and Hoover was over there quite a bit, and they never brought anyone. I mean, that's they don't.
Well,
they
maybe
don't
President's Day. Maybe they didn't have a bus service.
It was disappointing. I mean, you got 2 teams that are, I think, nationally ranked that are, that have dominated the state for the last 3 to 5 plus years. Really, Crystal more than that.
Yeah.
And certainly the last 2+ years for the Hoover boys under Scott Ware, and they had no student support.
So what you're saying is they Miami'd it.
Yeah, they pretty much did. I guess they all missed the bus. I don't know, but I mean, it was pretty shocking. And I will say, as I was gonna point out, Huntsville, we've always either played, and I'm gonna say a big win for the Crimson Panthers yesterday. Over the Vestavia Hills Rebels again in the Sweet 16. We've had really good success against a quality program like that. Who, by the way, I congratulated them on a great year last night after the game. Riley Norris, former Albertville Aggie star, Alabama star, he's on that staff. Patrick Davis has been there since 2016. He's done an amazing job. And taking over for a legend in George Hatchett, who won 2 state championships. Ryan Halla is also part of that staff. He was, along with Wade Kaiser, on the first state championship team for Coach Hatchett. And then 2009, I think, was his second and final title. Where they had they had Jordan Swing, outstanding player, went to UAB, and his dad was an NBA player. But like I said, Huntsville's usually playing at 10:30 or 1:30. They usually play, in the morning session, so to speak.
Yeah.
First time Huntsville's had to play at night.
Well, it's the first time the 7A. It's the first time the 7A really has been played anything but the morning. Usually the 7As are starting your day.
But I'm going to tell you what, and it was thanks to the Huntsville student section, the Albertville student section, a lot of fans and their passion for high school basketball in our state, which is, in a really healthy place right now. Man, that place was packed. I mean, it was.
Well, the peak can get loud.
Yeah, it was
because they
loud.
lowered after the tornadoes. They lowered the ceiling inside the peat a little bit and kind of confined everything.
Yeah, huge shout out though. But it was, we were talking about it as a group, like, wow, this is as packed as we've seen it. And it was just an outstanding atmosphere for high school basketball. And shout out to Vestavia too. I mean, they certainly made Huntsville work. It was a really good game for a half. They really shot it well, but Huntsville came out, even though with a little bit of foul trouble, in the third quarter. J.D. Gossett kind of took over. Simon Walker was back in the starting lineup, and he really kept things afloat in the first half. He ended up making a total of 5 threes in the game. Huntsville made 10 as a squad, but J.D. Gossett led the way, with 22 points. Had 6 guys in double figures, a lot of offensive balance for Huntsville. Evan Toms back off the bench again with 10. Did an outstanding job. Josh Bowman in double figures. Braden Rivers with a workman-like performance as well. It was just really nice to see. And the bench, and then there was even a send-it in from the freshman, Trevon Pinnell. Let's just say Vestavia's best player, who will be playing for Anthony Camara, our great friend.
One of all.
You can nickname. I already have. He shoots the ball like Peja Stojakovic. If you, it hit me. We were after post game. I kept thinking, okay, I've seen somebody shoot a ball like that. Okay, he holds it almost above his head. It's really tough to block, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. Peja Stojakovic. So, I know, Coach Ant, and I hope I didn't make you angry, but I did text you 11 o'clock last night to tell you got a good one. Guy made all 5 of the threes for Vestavia. He had 24 points. He's going to be a really good player, but you guys are going to see Peja Stojakovic Jr. in the Gulf South Conference.
All right, so that does set up the much anticipated
Armageddon.
10:45 Thursday morning, Hoover versus Huntsville.
That's right.
At Jack State. We will have that game for you Thursday morning at 10:45.
And we're looking forward to that. I think both these teams have kind of been eyeing this since, especially they announced the shift where Hoover was going to be coming to Jacksonville State. not going to Wallace State where they probably should be going. But I mean, I think they should be in opposite regionals. But that's been a big topic this year. But again,
and a lot of that is because Spain Park got moved down to Class 6A.
That's right.
And there was a couple schools that got reclassified, and it kind of shuffled things around. And so
and Hoover's been back and forth between Wallace State and Jacksonville. Huntsville's always been at Jacksonville, but the old Ric Flair slogan, and Flair came up yesterday. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And if Huntsville's going to win their first state championship since 1930 and in the modern era, then you've got to beat the Hoover Bucks, who are the defending 2-time 7A champs. They've earned everything they've got. So now Huntsville gets a shot at the title, so to speak, and it's going to be a great atmosphere and a great basketball game.
Yeah, we've seen this over the years where the two best teams perhaps in a class usually plays either at Wallace State or Jack State. I mean, we've seen that a few times. Remember back in the day, a lot of times when Madison Academy was really rolling, some of their toughest games came from the regionals, especially in the regional finals. All right, let's see here, 7:13. I tell you what, let's get our first break in. When we come back, we'll get out to the phone lines. We'll get and answer some of your questions as well. I know we got a couple people holding, so we'll get to that. Plus, we'll talk some college basketball and get in some college football conversations. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a new wreck showing 565 westbound at County Line. It's off to the right side of the road there. The blue lights may be slowing things down just a bit. We got one up near Old Madison Pike. It's westbound 565. That's about mile marker 14. And we got 231 southbound south of Monroe Road. That one reported with an injury. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. Ask about their military, law enforcement, and senior discounts. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships, March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Long before winter weather approaches, the Alabama Department of Transportation prepares to maintain interstate and state roads that could be affected by snow and ice.
Yeah, we start training and doing maintenance on snow and ice equipment months in advance to make sure everything is ready for when the freezing weather comes. We will have crews working around the clock that are prepared to plow snow and remove trees that have fallen into the roadway.
Our mission is to keep roadways safe and open. We try to achieve this by focusing on interstate routes first and then secondary roadways by traffic volume.
If the weather allows, we'll start pre-treating the roadways during the day to prepare for the temperature drop at night.
AlDOT wants to keep the public informed during these winter weather events. The best way to learn about state road conditions is the AlGo app and through local media. Brought to you by AlDOT, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
But that's never worked.
That's the price you pay.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. 7:18 on a Tuesday morning. Coming at the bottom of the hour, Katie Bracken's going to join us, or bottom here at 7:30. Katie Bracken's going to join us from UAH softball. We're getting a player because I text Coach yesterday, Coach Studeman, and I said, look, because I know her schedule, and I'm like, I know the 7 o'clock hour is very tough for you because you've got two little ones. And we were full at the 8 o'clock hour. So I said, could you by chance join us in the 7 o'clock hour? I said, I know it's last minute and I know it's a tough hour for you, but could you do this? Because UAH, because of the threat of severe weather, because of the threat of snowy weather tomorrow, they have moved several of the softball games that were supposed to start tomorrow to today over at Toyota Field. And UAH is among them.
Right. And the venues are going to be Toyota Field and, of course, UAH's facility. And that's going to be how they run this thing. And it was supposed to last, for several days, but things have had to be moved around. And as Scott said, now, are you guys still doing the game?
Yeah.
Scott,
so anyway, I text Tokyo yesterday and I said, hey,
AKA Molton.
They've moved this game. And he was like, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know he loves schedule changes.
Yeah. Well, there's not, so anyway, I text Coach. Coach is like, yeah, can't do it because it's too hard with two little ones. And I said, because it's drop off time.
Right.
And so, they've got to get, I understand that. Been there, done that. I get it. So she's like, I can give you Carter or I can give you Bracken.
Right.
And Carter is Melanie Carter, the assistant coach for UAH.
Correct.
And when I first got to town, I covered Melanie when she was playing with UAH and now when she's coaching. Phenomenal lady. Phenomenal. And she's like, or I can give you Bracken.
Yeah.
And I said, let's take Bracken.
Okay.
So that's how we ended up with Katie Bracken this morning. So, we broke her. Katie started doing interviews with me for post-game interviews, and she's great. And by the way, she's won a Rocket City Award too.
Right.
So she'll join us to talk softball. But let's go out to the phone lines. Let's get in Pat from Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Pat.
Hello, guys. Good morning, guys. I want to apologize for my rant yesterday. It was passion, man, pure passion. But hey, look, I want to talk about NIL this morning. That one of the senators from over around Auburn or something others, I introduced a bill to do away with state income tax for these guys.
Yes.
Would the two of y'all like to join a class action lawsuit? You know, my son's an attorney, and I would like to sue as a class action lawsuit, because there's no difference between what you guys do at sports entertainment and what Ryan Williams does at sports entertainment. Do you not agree?
For the most part, because he does a podcast as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm talking, you know, for his NIL, but if they're going to have NIL for them, I mean, and not have to pay any state income tax, yeah, you boys shouldn't have to either.
So they're calling it's Alabama. The bill is HB 240. That is the bill that Pat is referring to. Yeah. And basically all it is saying, and Georgia passed it a little bit ago, several months ago, but it says that any compensation earned by college athletes will not be subject to state income tax. Georgia imposes a flat 5.39% income tax rate. Alabama's income tax rate ranges between 2 to 5% with income over $6,000 for married couples. But what they want is, they say that this puts Alabama and will put Alabama in a competitive edge with Georgia and Florida, which do the same thing.
And Texas.
And Texas, yes. And Tennessee, I believe, as well.
Yes, sir, and Tennessee. And that's what I'm saying is that, hey, there's no difference. I figured it up the other day. I would have $100,000 more money in the bank if I had not had to pay any state income tax over my working career. My home office was in Florida with no state income tax, but I worked and lived in Alabama. Therefore, I had to pay state income tax. I mean, so, you know, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. But I am for recruiting, because I want to win. If this makes it to where there's a difference of, I mean, because when you're talking about $1 million per $1 million, there would be 5% on $1 million in Alabama, and $50,000. So if that makes a difference in us getting a player that's going to Texas or to Tennessee versus coming to Alabama because of that, I'm all for it.
So now the question is, though, and I am not familiar. I mean, when you get into the taxes stuff, Andrew, you may know this more.
I don't have a damn clue about all this income tax crap.
If you pass it to not pay state, do you still have to pay federal?
Yes.
Yes, you'll still have to pay
so you
federal.
got to pay federal.
That.
You just wouldn't have to pay the state.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Everybody's got to pay federal. You know that.
Well, and here's the thing, though.
Pay the HSA.
And this is. I remember that there's several coaches that have told me this in the past, that, you know, when Alabama, all these universities, even UAH for that matter, students would get financial. They would get aid packages. They would get this money. They would get $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000. And it would be free. You wouldn't have to pay it back. You don't have to pay taxes on it, and anything like that. Now they're getting NIL. They're getting much more money, and they're going to have to pay taxes.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, yeah, but what do y'all see any difference though in what y'all do in sports entertainment and what Ryan Williams does in sports entertainment? I'm talking about. It's regardless, what do you want to call it, NIL, whether they do
off the field, yes, somewhat, but even though he does also meet and greets and you know, autograph signings and things of that.
Well,
nature,
you could say we get
part of it, but you know, and we do meet and greets. We go do remotes and things of that nature, and
we get NIL from. I guess you could say we get NIL from those.
Yeah, but we don't. We because we're not athletes on the field or anything like that. But there are some similarities.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that y'all are in sports entertainment. Is what I'm saying.
No, we are. You're right. Yes, we are.
Entertainment.
Yes.
I'm looking at that aspect of it. Is that but anyway, hey, I appreciate y'all and thank y'all for letting me rant yesterday. I know I was awful, but hey, these guys that are so darn skinny and won't eat and won't work out, that won't do what it takes to get to look like Broom. I'm ticked off with them. So y'all have a blessed day.
All right. Thanks, Pat. Well, here's the thing, and Pat said that yesterday, but keep in mind, Jonai Broom is an older guy. I mean, he's been in college for a little bit. There's guys.
90% of the Auburn roster could almost, apply for Social Security. Okay,
Yes.
That's where we are in college basketball right now. And I wouldn't exactly call Jonai Broom Shaquille O'Neal from a girth standpoint. All right. And I don't think Alabama's a bunch of wimps. Alabama got their ass beat. Let's go to Missouri. Let's play Missouri. Win a game. Stop harping on they lost to Auburn. The season is not over. There's been no trophies given. Get your head out your ass and let's play some good basketball and beat Missouri and still be a 1 seed. There's a lot left to be played. We remember how Alabama finished last year. They looked like Ned and the first reader going into the tournament, and then they got a good draw and they got to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And Auburn went to the Final Four first in this state, made history in 2019. How many games has Auburn won in the NCAA tournament since that run, Scott?
I don't think they've won any.
It was about as many Hoover students as was in Jacksonville State yesterday.
Yeah. They Virginia'd it last season. I mean,
yeah.
Because remember, for years, Virginia was either lose.
I'm not even sure Virginia's won one since then either. And
they've lost. Yeah, they've won it all, but then they've bounced early from the tournament.
And that was the year after they became the first 1 seed to lose to a 16. And they didn't just lose; they got that ass just blown out of the arena by UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
I think it's great. I do. I think it's awesome now in this state that people have started like over analyzing Alabama and Auburn basketball, and they are panicking with 4 losses. And it's
called the football mentality.
Exactly.
Exactly the way the AHSAA is run, with a football mentality. And then Tony makes you sleep with the fishes if you don't pay him $250,000.
Oh, we're going to sleep with the fishes. Or we're just going to say,
or whack you in the knee so you can't walk.
Or we're going to take all your money.
Yeah.
We're going to say, you want it. You want it. That's fine. But we're going to take all your money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get Ray in real fast before we get to Katie Bracken. Good morning, Ray.
Morning, gents.
Morning.
I'll be real quick because I know you're up against it. Let's just be real. No one who has played college basketball at that level or coached at that level has given a rat's ass about where they are in the polls the week after Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
If you're in the top 40, you're in the field.
Yep.
Once it tipped off, the first 1 to 6 wins gets a trophy.
Yep.
It is that bleeping simple.
It's all about piling wins right now. It's all about piling wins and putting yourself in position
to get the best draw.
To get a good seed and get into the tournament.
As Nathan King pointed out yesterday from Auburn 247, he's outstanding beat writer. Auburn is close to even, and there's still a lot of basketball to be played. There's 6 games, but they're close to clinching a 1 and even the number 1 overall seed. It's not that far off. And they've got a 3-game homestand starting with Arkansas and John Calla not making it on Wednesday. So, I mean, because I'm sorry, Arkansas is not making the NCAA tournament. Don't care how many buttons he pushes or whatever and all the hell he raises. They're not good enough, in my opinion, to make it.
Right.
I think, I don't know if he's going to want to, go to the NIT or whatever the hell it's called now. That'll be his decision. He may just want to retool his roster. But I just don't see Arkansas making it. But again, Auburn, I definitely think they're going to be a 1, and they may very well be the number 1 overall. And if they are, they've got 14 quad 1 wins. They deserve it. They have the best resume in America.
Joel Lenardi thinks they have like almost a 2-game, like a 2-game cushion in that overall number 1 seed area.
But the ACC sucks.
Yes,
I mean Duke is able to blow these teams out because besides Clemson. Because they're not any good. I mean, it's a top-heavy league. They've got, 4 or 5 good teams, and let me preface that 3 or 4 good teams, and I think and an elite team in Duke. But Duke, I'll be honest, Duke shouldn't be seated above Alabama or Auburn right now. Who have they played? Their out of conference schedule was good, but within the league, I mean, South Kakalaki beat Clemson. That's all you need to know. A team that hasn't won one flipping game in the SEC beat the Duke Blue Devils. Or excuse me, beat the team that beat the Duke Blue Devils. Sorry. I'm bringing some of that passion right now. But again, like I said, Duke lost to Clemson. Clemson lost in overtime to South Kakalaki, the worst team in the SEC, who would probably be in third place in the ACC, the Sad Sack League, because right now they stink in every sport, all of them, everything.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, Katie Bracken, UAH All-American pitcher. I believe she's an All-American. We're going to call her one.
You're leading this one. You have the previous relationship.
She's going to join us.
I'm the wingman.
Look, when Coach asked her if she could join us at 7:30.
Terrify her?
No, her response was AM or PM.
Oh, no. Don't tell me we're waking her up, man.
We're waking her up.
Oh.
We're getting her up.
Good luck with that, Johnny boy.
Katie Bracken on the line next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on Rideout at Redstone Gateway. That one is being reported as an injury type. Had a couple on 565, both westbound, one at mile marker 7, one at mile marker 14. Both of those should be about ready to wrap up. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The Drive.
You know, both those guys have done a good job in what we've asked them to do, and both of them have developed nicely, and both of them have consistently made plays.
Wes and Steve.
Their decision-making, their judgment, their ability not to force things and take what the defense gives and distribute the ball with good decision-making down in, down out is, you know, probably the only thing that's going to be any different about them, because it's not physical ability or talent. So it's intangibles, leadership, decision-making, judgment, and all those types of things. And, you know, both guys have done a good job in that regard as well.
Listen to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton each weekday afternoon starting at 5. We are your home of ESPN Radio, 97.7 The Zone.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you paint your body, your car, and your dog your school colors? Maybe, but it means more than that. It means your alumni network includes the state, the country, and beyond. It means your school ring doubles as your resume, and yeah, you better believe it means more titles, like doctor, CEO, and your honor. Because this is the SEC, and here, it just means more.
We are your home for March Madness.
It's nice, of the year. Fortunes at 86 all time.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. 7:36 on a Tuesday morning. And like I said, sometimes we just have to we were going to talk softball, and we did. We wanted Les Studeman to join the program with us this morning.
Yeah, but
She's a little tied up.
Family time.
She's got, yes, and it's hard for her to get away. So
2 kids.
Yep. So the next best thing is to just talk to one of the players.
All-American.
Oh, she's good.
A native of this area.
Yes. Do you think you could get a hit if you stood in the batter's box?
There's
Do
no
you
way
think
in
you
hell.
could-
I'm not even gonna lie. There's no way. I've been in
even if you just
several years back, I was in a batting cage. No way in hell. And that wasn't even because I guarantee you it's in the 60s, and there's no way because this wasn't even close. Now, if it was old school, if it was slow pitch, yeah, I could make some contact, but no way in Hades. I'm not even going to sit here and try to BS that. None. It's about like when I fell over with a beer on my head. None.
That was still the best part. Anyway, we welcome into the program. You've heard her name over the airwaves.
Yes.
Because she is a Rocket City Award winner.
An Austin Lady Black Bear alum.
Yep. And you've heard her during UAH post games.
Right.
But the one, the only, the star in the circle for the
Do you
Chargers.
think she'd give it away if she's pitching today? Or would Coach Studeman never talk to us again?
If what? If she
gave away the lineup, like she's in the circle?
Oh, okay. Look, I'm going to assume she's in the circle today.
We assume that, but I don't want to have the wrath of Khan.
Katie Bracken, kind enough to join us this morning. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, guys.
See, we got her laughing already. She's up. She's had
news.
coffee. Okay, here we go. Breaking
I
news.
am pitching today.
Okay.
You are pitching
So
today.
she said it. We should not get in trouble if Coach Studeman, does not approve of that.
Oh boy, the wrath. I've seen Coach go from 0 to 100.
Oh, I'm sure you have, and I don't.
I have too.
And trust me, I had a great relationship, luckily for me, with another Hall of Famer that could go 0 to 100, and Sherry Ammons. And I'm proud of myself. I never was on the other end of the blast furnace. I mean, I've seen friends of mine that were probably listening to this show that were, but I had to choose my spots, and I knew.
Probably shouldn't say, but I've seen Katie's handled it like a pro.
Exactly.
She's handled it like a pro. I've seen this. Yes.
You just observe it. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Do your job, and then you avoid the wrath of Khan.
All right. Well, Katie, it's hard to believe that when we look at the schedule, we were looking at it during the break because we knew that you guys have played a lot of games, but it's hard to believe you've already played 14 games this season.
Yes, we played 11 in 8 days, actually.
Sheesh.
Just the first opening 2 weeks, we got a bunch in.
Well,
played a lot of really good competition.
No doubt.
I think we're ranked like 5th in the nation on our strength of schedule. So we got to get, a lot of really top ranked teams in at the beginning.
Yeah, playing Tampa, Augustana. I mean, these teams are ranked in the top 10 in the country. Coming off of a sweep, getting off of the right foot, so to speak, in conference play.
Look at you,
Christian Brothers. And there you go.
Yeah,
that's always the best way to begin.
It was a really good win. Really tough. It's really it's like Coach says, it's really hard to beat a good team once, but beating them 3 times is even harder.
Well, and we know how Coach Studeman, we have a great relationship with her, and we're honored to have her join us during Lady Charger softball season. But she always builds a tough schedule. That's the way you want to try to win a national championship. That's why your program has been so good, and as you said, has a top 5 strength of schedule right now. Katie, in your mind, how has the season unfolded so far, being 9-5 going into the North Georgia game later this afternoon?
I think playing these really tough teams shows a lot of of our weaknesses in the beginning. And, we've worked on a lot. We've worked on just the big things, if we have runners on, scoring them, pitching. I know for me, we've talked a lot about, don't walk the lead off, because somehow they always end up scoring.
She's told us that many a time.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Katie loves to put a runner on base right out of the gate. Les will tell you, she loves to put a runner right on base right out of the gate.
I just like to keep it interesting. But just playing all these tough teams, they really help us. We've found a lot of our weaknesses, but we also have found a lot of our strengths, I feel like, and just being able to work on those strengths. We've got a lot of great bats in the lineup. We've got Brittany Slayton from Sneed. I mean, she is smoking the ball. Maddie's smoking the ball. We have a lot of really good bats in the lineup. Our defense is coming along. Our defense is great. Our pitching, Megan Schertz from Bob Jones. I mean, she killed it this weekend. Absolutely dominated. Lydia West from Sneed. She's done her part really well. I feel like a lot of things are really coming together for us, which is really just a positive.
Yeah, and you mentioned the pitching, and it amazes me how softball has evolved. And you being a pitcher, you are in the center of all of this. It used to be in softball, you had one, maybe two pitchers to ride on. Now in the day of college softball, what's that like to know that you are part of a staff? Like it is a staff where not only you have one pitcher, but you have 3 to 4 pitchers to bounce ideas off, to work ideas off, to if you're struggling, you know what, you turn the ball over and you got a teammate that can get the job done.
I think that was just the biggest change of mindset from high school to college. Is high school, it's all riding on your back. You really only have one good pitcher in high school, but college, it was if I'm struggling, I know that Megan's got my back. Megan's going to come in and Megan's going to save it. If something's going wrong in the bullpen, I know I can look to Jesse and be like, hey, is there something I can fix? Just knowing that no matter what, we have to have more than one pitcher to win. I can't pitch every game. Megan can't pitch every game, just working together, because we play 3-game series. So we have to, we have to have more than one pitcher. So just understanding the dynamic of, we need each other. We have to have each other in order for us to win as a team was really just something that hit me, was I need them,
Yeah.
Well, and Katie, it's interesting because a lot of this show today is dedicated to softball because of what's going on in the Rocket City, and this showcase, this kind of a collaboration of D1 and D2 softball that's so good in our state and really in the region. It's been amazing to watch the sport grow in the last 10 to 15 years. The Southeastern Conference now in the Division I level, number 1, and then I think the Gulf South Conference, no question. Coach tells us that all the time about how tough the league is, how good the softball is. But talk about how tough it is. And you were able to make a transition. You came from a very good program over at Austin, and then you were able to seamlessly kind of transition and become an ace for Coach Studeman as a freshman. How were you able to do that so quickly? Because sometimes it's hard to do when you're going from high school, a very good high school level, though, to making a jump to the Gulf South Conference, which I think people need to understand is kind of, the SEC of Division II, or so to speak. It's the best softball in the country and on the Division II level.
Yes, the GSC has got a lot of big hitters. It's just, I think, what sets our conference apart. I mean, we have got so many people that can just go in and hit one over the fence at any given moment. So when I came in, my goal was to just to do my part, do what I can, and then I had a lot of great success. But me and Coach talked a lot about what I can do to be successful, and a lot of the things was throwing the change up to the big hitters, being able to have the change up pitch to throw them off, going in against AUM, just having a good mindset. I can do this, I can win, because I mean, these girls aren't small. Going from high school, they were, moderate size, but I mean, there's some corn-fed bread. What is it? Corn-fed fed girls.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, these are some big girls. So it's just like, not being intimidated when you're on the mound, like knowing I got this, I got the ball, I have the ball for a reason. And just showing up when you can. I mean, they get in the box and you're like, your legs are shaking, you're looking at it, and you're like, oh, this is a big girl. Like, let me not put this one in the middle. Just knowing when you can go at the batters and when you need to not, throw around them, hit your spot, make sure that you're not, leaving a ball over the plate on these good hitters.
Well, look, Charger Park is a phenomenal facility. And you, in the Gulf South Conference, there are some really good facilities outside of Charger Park. There's a handful of them. But today, when you take to the Circle, you're going to play inside Toyota Field. They've redone it to make it a softball field. When you saw this on the schedule and you saw you're playing at Toyota Field, what was the first thing that came to your mind on how they're going to get this done, or just how cool this is going to be?
My first thought was I said, if they can turn it into a football field, they can turn it into a softball field. I had no doubt they could do it. But Coach is so funny. She sent us the live stream because, they live streamed them renovating it into a softball field. And so we watched that, and I was like, I thought it was crazy. I didn't know how they were going to do it because baseball has a all grass infield.
Yep.
And softball definitely does not have that. So I was like, are they just going to go in and dig it all up? And they sure did. They dug it all up. So I didn't know how they were going to do it at first, but I thought if they could make it a football field, they could definitely make it a softball field.
Well, and then Katie, talk about your development too. How have you changed and evolved as a pitcher? Because that's the key to staying ahead. Because you talked about how good the hitters are in this league and on the Division II level in the GSC. How have you kind of evolved as a pitcher going now into the beginning? This is the start of your junior year as a Charger.
So my freshman year, I obviously had a very successful year. My sophomore year was not as successful. I had a lot more struggles than I had my freshman year. And so coming in this year, it was a lot about what can I change to help my team more? Is it reducing the walks? Is it staying ahead in the count? So that's something we really hit this year, was reducing the walks and just making sure I'm staying ahead in the count, because one thing about me is I'm wildly effective. So I mean,
is there an emphasis on the wildly part?
Yes, what's his name, Ricky Vaughn?
Yeah. Oh no!
Nice.
No. Okay. That brings up do you watch Major League? Have you watched that movie?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Of course. How would she know who Ricky Vaughn
was? No, because you could have heard of Ricky Vaughn, but not as in the movie.
Jeez.
No, my dad has educated me on that movie.
Just a bit outside.
Ball four.
Yeah, there we go.
Ball eight.
Yeah, throwing it to the backstop and then throwing it right on the corner is just something I have known well.
Yeah. Back them off.
Yeah, just coming back. It's really. I kind of told myself I was just gonna leave it in God's hand. Like He has a plan for me, and my last year wasn't as successful, so we worked a lot in the bullpen. All the other pitchers, we worked together on how we could be more effective this year. Getting Megan back was such a big step for us, because me and Megan are complete opposites. So having somebody that's completely opposite from me that can come in and pitch, is really effective for me, because she has all that down stuff that's so hard to hit. And then having Lydia come in, she's got all the screw and the change up. I mean, it's hard to hit. I wouldn't want to get in the box off either of them. So just having both of them come in, Megan come back, has been really helpful for me as a pitcher, because, I have somebody that can offset me. So if I go after Megan, I mean, they're not used to all the up. If Megan goes after me, they're not used to all the down because we're complete opposites, like I said. So having both of them is really helped me a lot.
What's your thoughts on North Georgia today? They were a preseason top 10 team in the country, loaded each and every year. They've got a few national championships under their belts in the last 5 years. Thoughts on seeing North Georgia again?
I'm excited to see them. I think everybody is beatable. I think that we're a really good team. I think we're a really strong team, and we have a chance to go in and pull out this big win against a really strong and competitive team. Their hitting is very good. Their pitching is always very strong. So just going in with that mindset that no matter what they're ranked, everybody is beatable.
And we certainly hope so. It's going to be on 97.7 The Zone. Scott Theisen will be
I'll be there
up in the dugout and talking to Katie Bracken and Les Studeman, getting the reaction. And Steve Molson will be on the call, trying to get a big win over a national power in North Georgia.
I want to see the eye roll, though.
Yeah.
We're going to have an eye roll.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be an eye roll.
I don't know if Coach Studeman wants you guys having a camera in there, though. But
yeah, no, probably don't scan the camera.
Yeah, she's kind of warned us about that before. I don't know if we'll be able to talk her into that, but certainly we hope to see a Charger win. And Katie, we appreciate you getting up and joining us, and we wish you nothing but the best later this afternoon in the Circle. Hope you throw a complete game shutout, and beat North Georgia. But thank you for joining us, and congratulations on your career. We even had Freddie Kirby, who you know very well, text in and said, tell Katie Bracken good luck and continued success. So he's listening today.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys for letting me join. I am now probably about to go back to sleep.
Oh, there you go. There we go. A girl out.
Oh, thanks, Katie.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie Bracken with a C. Coach said she would be good.
Oh, she was great.
She was great.
She's going to be Alessa's pitching coach in the next few years, I'm pretty sure.
If she struggles today in the Circle, though, it's not our fault.
It's not.
It's not our fault. We got to get
She's not going to struggle. We're not jinxing her here.
No, we're not. We're going to get a break in, though.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Last reported accident was right out in Redstone Gateway. They reported that one as an injury type, but they've already canceled Himsey and taken it off the board, so it should be clearing pretty quick. Everything else looks good this morning. You be careful on the rest of your ride in. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You could write the name down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tuscaloosa, we live by the blue-collar basketball motto.
Stepping back, deep three, hard work, 2-on-1, driving, stepping through, shot, got it to go.
Teamwork.
Play the song for the champions of the Southeastern Conference.
Join us for every game right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
We're talking to Katie. Time kind of got away from us there a little
she
bit.
likes to talk, man. I mean,
She was good.
Great.
She was good. That was her first live, outside of doing post game.
Yeah, this is her first live radio hit.
Extended conversation like that. Yeah. She
And
was.
We're already trying to get her a job too, so that's good after softball.
She could come in and sit with us for one day. She
I'm
could
trying to get her
handle
the pitching coach job.
She could handle sitting in here with us for one day.
Yeah.
Patrick Murphy's going to join us at the 8:30 hour. Well,
Hey, we made it, man. We got retweeted by the Alabama softball account last night.
Well, we got retweeted by the UAH softball account this morning, so we're on fire.
We're good. They love us, man.
But Blake Lovell's going to join us at the top of the hour because we're going to his opinions on college basketball, the Alabama-Auburn game, and what lies ahead. Tonight, it's a small slate of games in the conference. Kentucky will try to avoid being swept by Vanderbilt as they welcome the Commodores tonight. Oh, that's tomorrow. My bad. I'm looking at Wednesday's schedule.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's Florida taking on Oklahoma. Florida, a 15.5-point favorite at home over the Sooners. Mississippi State is at home taking on Texas A&M. Bulldogs, a 2.5-point favorite over the Aggies at home. And LSU in South Carolina. LSU is a 2.5-point favorite at home over the winless and SEC Gamecocks. Blake Lovell will join us coming up here in a minute as we talk some SEC basketball and some of the rest of the country's hoops.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa Signature Card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
College baseball today. The Auburn Tigers taking on the Troy Trojans. Auburn, the $1.35 favorite. Troy plus 105 of the money line. North Alabama winners of 5 straight, tied for first in the Atlantic Sun with Lipscomb hosting 5-22 West Georgia today at Flowers Hall. The Lions 15.5-point home favorites, 147.5 the total in a possible look-ahead spot for the Lions, who meet Lipscomb on the road on Thursday. Lipscomb tied with North Alabama for first in the Atlantic Sun. The Bison today, 3.5-point favorites at Eastern Kentucky. For more, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back. Hour 2, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. By the way, Sportsman Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, they did help us bring that Katie Bracken interview to you.
And we appreciate that.
And they're also kicking off hour number 2 of Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 256-881-5151. Give them a call today, and you can experience that sports med difference, Sports Med Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center and orthopedic, whatever. They'll help you They're also going to help be a part of the game tonight as well from Toyota Field. We talked a lot about the Alabama-Auburn matchup yesterday. A lot of Alabama fans feeling a lot of angst towards it. Some are still calming down. Others are like rational and realizing it's just one game and it doesn't mean or define anything except you have 4 losses now, but you still have the path towards a number 1 seed, still have a path to be one of the top 4 seeds in the SEC tournament and get all those buys. So all that's still at stake. But one thing we have noticed now with the SEC, it is still the premier conference, Drew, but we're seeing separation now to the point where the SEC is almost like in 3 divisions.
Yeah.
There's an upper division, a middle division, and a toilet. Those lines are really starting to become defined in the league.
There's only 2 in the toilet completely right now, and that's LSU and South Carolina.
They're circling. I mean, they're
Now,
about down.
Oklahoma's getting closer and closer, and they'll probably take
Yes.
another beating tonight.
Well, they're 3-9, and they got Florida tonight.
Yeah, good luck. But and Porter Moser's had a good career, but it doesn't seem like it's a fit right now at OU. We're going to talk about that and more with one of the, if you're talking just SEC content, it's the best out there, Southeastern 16. And we're going to talk to their lead analyst, and that is Blake Lovell. He's been kind enough to join us to talk some SEC basketball. We're going to get his reaction from the weekend and look ahead to this week of the SEC right now with Blake. Blake, good morning.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing good.
Thank you for joining us, Blake. First and foremost, your thoughts on the Iron Bowl of basketball. We saw it happen in Tuscaloosa. I was there. It was a crazy environment, but Auburn flexing a little bit. And I never would have thought it would be a wire-to-wire win for the Tigers, but it was. And what a resume they're putting together right now.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I think, one of the reasons we made our picks as always for these games, and one of the reasons I picked Auburn was because I thought exactly what you said, Drew. I thought they would sort of relish the opportunity to flex a bit in terms of just sort of showcase. This was kind of what this team had been built for all season, was a game like this where you're going to go into a hostile atmosphere. You are playing a team that is the favorite, even though, again, you've put together a body of work that's better than anybody's. I don't want to say by far, but, as most of the bracketologists seem to say now, Auburn's probably at least a couple, losses from anywhere being close to dropping the top overall seed. And so I thought they would really relish that opportunity. And like you said, from the very beginning, they did that. They got off to a good start. And I think it just kind of shows you that when you play this kind of schedule, which these 2 teams, have probably played 2 of the toughest schedules in the country without question, you're just going to kind of build up that confidence in these sort of moments. And I think what always stands out with this Auburn team this year is they just have so many different guys that can beat you, even though they have, either the best player, the second best player in the country, or wherever you want to put Chani Broom. Pettiford can step up and hit big shots. Baker Mazzara, Denver Jones, I know as you guys have probably talked about. I mean, to me, he was the MVP of the game just in terms of his defense and what that meant. So, yeah, it was, been a lot of impressive performances from Auburn this season, but, you're probably putting that one right up there at the top.
So if you're Auburn, that they were at home a couple weeks ago and just get embarrassed by Florida. There was no way, in part of my mind, there was no way that Auburn was going to, now didn't know if they were going to win, but you had a feeling that when they came out against Alabama, they were going to be more intense on defense, if that's a word. They were going to have better intensity on defense than what they showed. Yes, than what they showed in that game against Florida.
Yeah, and I think so, because that, all year we talked about the historical numbers on offense, but we've also kind of said, because we talk so much about the offense, the defense probably doesn't get enough credit. And, if there is going to be something where Auburn wins the national championship this year, yes, they'll need to score, but I think their defense is going to be probably the main reason for it, just because we know how it works when you get in those tournament type settings. And when you get in these kind of games, against an Alabama, against the Florida, who, are 2 of the best offensive teams in the country, yes, you're going to be playing a probably high scoring game, but you have to find ways to get stopped. And that's like, there may be people on the outside who didn't watch that game and say, well, 94-85, who's playing defense in that one? It's so far from the truth, right? Because we saw Auburn, and defensively, again, they were pretty locked in, and I thought that was the difference. This Alabama team has not shot the ball as well as last year's team. We know that, but they didn't get the great looks. If you're wondering, 5 of 26, Alabama just had an off shooting night. Well, yeah, they did, but a lot of the reason for that, I think, was just the perimeter defense from Auburn. They were not allowing any of those easy looks for Alabama. And again, that just shows you kind of the depth of this Auburn team. They're not just a team that can go out and score with the best of them. They're a team that is really locked in, as you said, on defense.
And then I thought too, first of all, shout out to Mark Byington and what he's done, but a great first half for for Vanderbilt on the road at Tennessee, but then a championship response from Rick Barnes' group. And I thought they solidified themselves as at least a solid 2 right now. They're still threatening for that 1 line, but and then also for Florida as well. A little bit of a rough first half, but a great second half at home against South Carolina. But right now, Florida and Tennessee seem to be separating themselves along with Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah, and I think, you sort of look at the interesting part of that is I think Florida right now, is just playing at a different level. And I think, again, if you ask me right now, like who are the top 2 favorites to win the national championship, sure, I'm going to put Auburn in there. But, it's do I put Florida? Do I put Duke? Do I put Alabama? It may be Florida right now, just because I think, again, when you look at sort of the recipe for success, I mean, they're a top 5 offense, they're a top 10 defense. And I mean, how many teams are just adding a 7'1" guy in the middle of February? And you're thinking, okay, this guy wasn't supposed to play at all this year, of course, in Micah Hanlogden. All right, maybe they're going to ease him into things against South Carolina. He'll play 8-10 minutes. Let's just see how it goes, right? No, he played 20 minutes. He had 2 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals. And it's like, you just brought this guy in the middle of the season when you're already having one of your best seasons ever. And so once they get Condon back, once they get Sam Alexis back, as long as Clayton and Martin, like they've been a team that's battled injuries too. We talk about Kentucky and teams like that, but man, Florida's still been able to navigate this thing, and they have just been so dominant, I think, in terms of the way they play at times. And then you mentioned like Tennessee. I know they are 22-21-5 and 8-5 in the league, but I still feel like Tennessee's one of those teams where it's all going to depend on the matchup. We could say that about everybody else too, I'm sure, but they still have some of those stretches offensively where they just sort of make you scratch your head a little bit. So I feel a little more confident about Florida. And I'll say this too, guys, like I think Texas A&M,
yes,
when you look at the overall body of work, I think the committee had them as the number 6 overall seed or whatever. And I still think it's probably just the way A&M plays that I'm guilty of this sometimes. I'm like, I just don't know if I can buy into it because, I look at all their percentages and it's like, Ken Pom has the green and the red. Texas A&M on offense is pretty much solid red. Like they are just bad shooting in every single area. But when you look at what they do defensively and what they do on the boards, they just always find ways to win these games. So the top part of the SEC, as we kind of talked about leading into this, I mean, there is a clear, I think, separation when you look at teams like that.
Well, tonight you mentioned Texas A&M and their struggles offensively. They go on the road to take on Mississippi State tonight.
Very interesting matchup.
Very interesting matchup. To me, this is a game Mississippi State kind of needs to win.
Yeah, I kind of like Mississippi State in this spot, and one of the reasons is not just because they come off of kind of getting that somewhat surprising win at Ole Miss to get the sweep, but I'm like, can Mississippi State, I mean, we always talk about how difficult it is to play at the home. I'm like, can Mississippi State really lose 4 straight home games?
That is crazy. I didn't even think about that.
2 of them, they weren't even competitive, right? They weren't even competitive against Missouri and Florida pretty much. I know the Florida game wound up being 13, but Florida's up 22-24 midway through the second half or something. And I'm thinking, they can't possibly lose another home game. But then I'm like, well, they're 6-6 in the SEC. They've lost 4 home games to Kentucky, Alabama, Missouri, and Florida, so upper-tier teams in the league. And I'm just like, they got to win one of these. You just don't see that very often, like I said, especially there, because this is still, I think, a pretty good team. And you're still looking at a team that's probably going to wind up as a 6-7 seed, something like that in the NCAA tournament. So it is a huge game. And I think the biggest weakness for Mississippi State has been and it's been one of the most surprising stats all season for me, Mississippi State was in the 300s defensively in 3-point percentage defense. And you just, you don't expect that from a Chris Jans team who usually lock in on the perimeter on defense. But what can Texas A&M not do? They can't shoot at all. And so that takes away probably the biggest weakness for Mississippi State. And all of a sudden, if you're Texas A&M and you can't exploit that, I think that gives Mississippi State a good chance to win this game.
Very interesting. And we know Josh Hubbard is capable. We saw what he did against Alabama. Keyshawn Murphy's been outstanding. And then Alabama, Missouri. We know how high you are in Dennis Gates. Mizzou's up to 15th in the poll. They got a big win over Georgia over the weekend. This is a dangerous game for Alabama. Nate Oates has struggled over in Columbia, but yet I think Alabama can win this game. And Alabama has played better on the road than at home, Blake.
Yeah, and I think that's where, I am always usually the high man on Dennis Gates. But I think this is a good spot for Alabama because I feel like it is kind of one of those situations where you would expect Alabama to sort of answer the call after that, right? Because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's a little down after losing the home game to Auburn. And yet you still look at, again, the way this team has been playing for 2+ months. And, there's no shame in a 9-point home loss to Auburn other than the fact that it's Alabama-Auburn, right? And so if you just remove the name on the jersey, when you play that kind of team, you still thought Alabama did a lot of things well, but it just happened to be the other team did things better. And I think for Missouri, who, as we know, have been tough to beat there, their only loss this season in Columbia is that 3-point loss against Texas A&M. I think it's one where you certainly expect this to be high scoring. These are two really good offenses. But I will say, if you look at it from the other standpoint, if Missouri wins this game, it's kind of, I think, going to be a pretty simple story, right? It's because Missouri doesn't turn the ball over.
Right.
And they also force a lot of turnovers. And so, if you're Alabama, that's kind of the two things that Alabama at times we know can turn it over, and they really don't force any turnovers whatsoever. And so if Missouri gets the looks they want offensively, it could be trouble for Alabama. But I tend to think this is the kind of matchup that Alabama thrives in as long as they can take care of the ball.
Is Kentucky's biggest issue right now just health? Just trying to get everybody on the floor at the same time?
That's it. I mean, because, it's like Kentucky's resume is one of the most absurd resumes I think I've ever seen, where, they've beaten Duke, they've beaten Gonzaga, they've beaten Florida, A&M, Tennessee twice. But then you look up and it's like, well, they've lost by 10 at home to Arkansas, they lost to Vanderbilt, they lost to Georgia, they lost to Texas, and these are all bubble teams. And so if you look at it from that standpoint, you're just thinking, all right, which Kentucky team is going to show up? And sometimes we say that about a team that just, is very inconsistent. But, legitimately, which Kentucky team is going to show up? Who's going to play? We have no idea. And so I think that's the biggest issue for them, is that you just don't know night in and night out, when are they getting this guy back? Is this guy going to be out for longer than we thought? Who else is going to be added to the injury report? That's just kind of been the theme all season long, which doesn't make it kind of remarkable that they do have all the great wins that they have this season. And I know people are going to say, well, Kentucky's getting the benefit of the doubt and all this because why are they a 3 seed? Why are all this? It's just because they have so many good wins. Yes, they have losses, but they have so many good wins. And the committee values that way more than they do just maybe an average loss. And so I think it's very important that they somehow get healthy. And, someone asked me yesterday, guys, pick one of the teams outside the top 6 in the SEC that you can't think can make the Final Four. It's a layup question. Of course it's Kentucky, because they've beaten all these teams that probably are going to have a chance to make the Final Four. So it's just a matter, though, are they going to have everybody? If they don't, you just don't know.
Well, I mean, I've got to, because this conversation is going to start being had, as the season winds its way down the next 3 weeks. In your mind, who's on the hot seat in this league coaching-wise right now? Is it Porter Moser? Is it Matt McMahon? Both? I mean, is there any coaches in trouble right now?
Well, I think, somewhat surprised maybe. I know that there was someone yesterday that reported that they think LSU is going to stick with Matt McMahon, and I think this will be the same reason that South Carolina will stick with Lamont Paris. And
yeah, they gave him a big contract last year too, right?
Yeah, and it's the NIL, guys. It's the resources that you're pumping into basically going out and buying players. I think that's one where those two schools realized that, look, we have to pump a lot more money into this. And I think you kind of give the coaches another chance to do that because you're seeing what's happening everywhere else in the league. To me, the one I think that you said it, Drew. I mean, I think the Porter Mosier one is the one that I'm most interested in right now, which may be surprising because you probably would have thought it would be LSU and South Carolina. But it seems right now, at least in my opinion, both those guys will be back. Now, I always say this. You never know if you go, if South Carolina doesn't win a game, you never know. But like you said, they gave him a big contract last year. But the Oklahoma one is the one I would keep an eye on because I think there has just kind of reached a point that LSU loss to me kind of sent everything boiling over. Because look, if you're ranking the bubble teams right now, who's going to make it from Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma? I think Oklahoma's the very clear number 5. Like, I just think they have no chance now. So if they're going to miss the NCAA tournament, I think, again, they were already coming into the season. Look how many fans are in the stands. Like, it's not the greatest atmosphere. That's the one I would probably keep an eye on.
So interesting, but great stuff, Blake. We always appreciate your time talking SEC basketball. Let everybody know what you guys have coming up on Southeastern 16.
Yeah, I always appreciate it, guys. Yeah, find us on YouTube, Southeastern 16. We'll have all of our previews coming up for these games. Obviously, the big one, Alabama, Missouri on Wednesday. We'll talk about that. Auburn, Arkansas, interesting as we know, too. So, yeah, we'll find it all there. Southeastern 16 on YouTube. Find me on Twitter at @TheBlakeLevel.
Thanks, Blake.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get a break in. Phone lines open to you, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Last reported accident was right out in Redstone Gateway. They reported that one as an injury type, but they've already canceled Himsey and taken it off the board, so it should be clearing pretty quick. Everything else looks good this morning. You be careful on the rest of your ride in. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You could write the name down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Been thinking about what kind of truck you need to pull that big boat or shiny Airstream Classic? I'd like to invite you to feel the torque of an F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It combines the forces of gas and electric power for over 11,000 pounds of towing muscle. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, where you can test drive over 200 new F-150s. And you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on a 24 XLT 4x4 with the Power Boost engine. Save over $13,000 on F-150 today. On your way to a growing family or already have one? Then a Woody Anderson Ford Expedition is your ticket to ride. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 24 Expedition at Woody Anderson Ford. $12,000 off Expedition. And there's more too. Get up to $8,000 off MSRP on the agile and sporty Escape ST line. And with a versatile 2024 Edge, you're looking at up to $10,000 off MSRP only at Woody Anderson Ford. Bring on the savings. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Buckhorn Youth Sports was created in 2018 to provide kids in our community the ability to compete at every sport possible. We offer football, flag and tackle, cheer, volleyball, wrestling, basketball, baseball, and softball. You can find us on Facebook at Buckhorn Youth Sports, where we prepare the future. Buckhorn Youth Sports is a proud supporter of Buckhorn High School football. Go Bucks!
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At 8:21 on a Tuesday morning. Talking Ball, welcome back. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the Tuesday edition show. We've got Patrick Murphy joining us at the bottom of the hour, Alabama softball coach. He'll talk about Alabama's part in the Rocket City Showcase.
Correct.
That gets underway today.
Got moved a full day, ahead.
Yes.
They were
Everything that was
6:30 on Wednesday, but because of this weather that could possibly happen, and what you talked about earlier in the show, Scott,
I'm going to say
Alabama moving up today, and UAH, because you guys
everything. So what they did is they said, hey, everything that's being played on Wednesday, we're going to play it on Tuesday. And so then now that means we won't have softball back there until the 21st. So they're going to play today. There'll be 2 days off, the 19th and the 20th, and then they'll resume action on the 21st. There's games going to be played out there on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The 24th, the final day, is all high school. James Clemens, Huntsville, Grissom, Hartselle, Jemison, Columbia, Hazel Green, New Hope, Buckhorn, Sparkman, Bob Jones, Athens. And then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd is all college.
Yep.
So, I mean, Auburn is out there, Ole Miss is out there, Mississippi State is out there, UNA is out there, Jack State is there. So Jack State and Alabama will be tonight at 6:30. So there you go. That's the softball landscape. But Patrick Murphy will join us at the bottom of the hour. Something to keep an eye on. Football related, college football related. I don't know if you saw this or not. The SEC and the Big Ten, they are meeting. Remember, they love each other so much so that they have formed an alliance, the SEC and the Big Ten. They are meeting without any other conferences, just those two. Whoop, they're meeting. Our good friend Ross Dellinger, who's been on this program several times, is in the forefront of all of this and has said and has reported that the SEC and the Big Ten, they are building momentum together towards expanding the college football playoffs to 14 or 16 teams, and they want to assign multiple automatic qualifiers per league, as much as many as 4 each for themselves. Just the SEC and just the Big Ten to have 4 automatic qualifiers for themselves of the 14 or 16 teams. And that he believes, and those within the SEC and the Big Ten believe, that if this happens, it would pave the way for the SEC to finally move to 9 regular season conference games.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's going to help sell tickets, and that's what Nick Saban was always talking about. It'll make your now some of these coaches won't like it because it's going to make it even tougher, but still, it strengthens the schedule. It puts butts in the seats, and with all the streaming now and all that TV coverage, that's what you're trying to do: get people to travel, come out, be inside the stadium, spending their money, supporting these teams, especially in this NIL era. But I think everybody could see this coming with the two, leagues that run the sport of college football and bring in the most revenue, the Big Ten and the SEC, forming some sort of alliance, and the other sad sacks get with it or get out.
So the Big 12, the ACC, and Jack Swarbrick, they said, and Ross put in the article that, hey, they were reached for comment about all of this. They confirmed that this is out there. They confirmed the existence of it, but they're declining to talk about the matters about it. How much hell do you think the Big 12 and the ACC will raise with the SEC and the Big Ten saying, we're going to get
you mean
4?
The Big 12 and the ACC?
Yeah. we're going to get 4 automatic we automatically get 4 automatic qualifiers if we expand all of this.
Well, I mean, who cares? I don't care what they think. I don't really care about the ACC. I don't really care about the Big 12. Get with it or get out. The way I look at it. Can't help it. You got a side sack league with no money. It's your fault.
Steeler Mike with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Steeler Mike.
What's up?
What's going on, boys? How we doing this morning? Scotty Too Hottie and Phil Jr.
What's up, man? Hey, are your Steelers, are they going to sign Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, man, I don't know. You know, my son is a huge Jets fan, so he wants to keep him.
Oh, my God. How did that happen?
Wow.
When he was a little kid, he got big into Joe Namath, and he wrote a paper.
Okay.
And
Your son was big into Joe Namath? Wow.
Huh? Yeah, my whole family's Alabama fans. My wife, my daughter went to Alabama. Everybody.
There you go. There you go. I knew I liked you for some reason.
I know it.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally, when my daughter graduated from Alabama, we had a big party for her. I got up on the microphone and said "Roll Tide" for the first time in my life. But anyway,
man,
I'm 51 years old, and in my lifetime, and you think about this: Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida. All 4 of those programs, all 4 of them, their basketball programs are stronger than their football programs. Now, I'm not saying Alabama, is not still an elite football program, because they are, and I think Tennessee's still teetering. Heupel's playing with being elite. But at Tennessee, football is the 3rd best program at the University of Tennessee. Baseball's 1st, basketball 2nd, football's 3rd. I would put basketball ahead of everything at Alabama, Florida, and Auburn right now, wouldn't you guys? And that's just unreal.
Is that just based? So for the Alabama perspective, is that based on just this past season's results?
Not really, because if you look over Nate Oates' last 3 or 4 years, Saban went to the playoffs 2 years ago, but Alabama was right there. Tennessee, obviously, I'm not counting the Butch Jones years or Derek Dooley.
Now, Auburn, I agree, because Auburn has been to the Final Four, and Bruce Pearl has gotten them back up. Obviously, they're riding a high right now, potential overall number 1 seed. I would agree with Auburn right now that the basketball program is ahead of the football program. Yes.
I mean, and at Tennessee, there's no doubt about it in my mind. In the words of Drew DeArmond, there's no doubt about it. But it's just, we're living in a world that's just completely different than we lived in even 10 years ago, in my opinion, as far as basketball, football, baseball. And I'm sorry, it just does mean more.
Would you put, Drew, would you put the Alabama basketball program ahead of the football program right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, Alabama's, I agree with Mike. I mean, it's coming off a Final Four appearance, and football's retooling right now, but basketball, I mean, look at that crowd Saturday. It was nuts. I mean, and certainly the Auburn basketball program's ahead of their sad sack football program.
What I can't understand is why the top news story in the world is not Alabama or Tennessee or Auburn. It should be Tommy Pham going to my Pirates, boys. I'll hang up, and you guys have a blessed day.
Hey, he sticks with it, man.
He does. I tell you, he does. He's got.
And I tell you what, if he'd got that Paul Skeens card, he would have traded it for all those season tickets and
would you?
I
know. What would you have done though if you were holding that Paul Skeens card?
I'd try to sell it for $1 million friggin' dollars. That's what I'd try to do. I mean, I'm not an LSU guy. Skeens great and everything, but give me $1 million friggin' dollars.
Think of all the Alabama clothes you could have bought with $1 million.
I just want to have money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Jeez.
Oh, he's got some money in the bank. Patrick Murphy does. At least I hope he does.
Alabama Sports Hall of Fame in 2022. Been with this Alabama program since its inception. 3 years as an assistant, and now I believe this is his 26th year as head coach. He always counts it down. This is team 29 for him.
Yes.
And Alabama 5-5 right now, not off to the start they're used to, but they played a very tough schedule, and it's an honor to have them in the Rocket City to play over at Toyota Field against Jack State, a team that they have quite a rivalry with. It should be a great game tonight.
And you're leaving one thing out. He's a Northern Iowa grad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're going to have to tell him that when he comes on.
We tell him every time.
Yeah, but he's going to be talking to another Northern Iowa grad.
Yes.
These are going to be two Northern Iowa grads talking.
It's the only time. I think it's the only. Anyway, Patrick Murphy going to join us on the flip side.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Hartselle, 31 and 36. No injury that I know of. Got one on Moore's Mill near Countess Road. That one reported injury. And we're seeing backup 565 eastbound around Mooresville Road. Had a couple of tractor trailers involved in a wreck there. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. Ask about their military, law enforcement, and senior discounts at D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977ESPN.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
You can now do more without it costing you more. Alabama's attractions have come together to offer the all-in-one ticket that downloads to your mobile device. No matter how many attractions listed on the ticket you see during the time span you bought, your price stays the same. Pick the right ticket option that best fits your schedule, and then enjoy more attractions without spending more. All-in-one tickets for different areas of Alabama are available at alabama.travel and other places where online tickets are sold. Brought to you by Alabama Tourism Department, the ABA, and this station.
Hey, brother. Saw you call.
John, I've been thinking about our days during the war, and
I'm on my way.
Thanks, man.
If you are a veteran struggling with depression, anxiety, or need someone to talk to, call 800-273-8255. Press 1. It's private and free 24/7. Call 800-273-8255 or visit vetsforhope.com. Sponsored by the Partners of Alabama's Challenge and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
Never miss 1 second of Charger basketball with the Charger Zone.
Murr attacks it, lobs it, jamming it down. Is Daniel Saylor on the alley-oop right out of the game.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. 8:36 on a Tuesday morning. Hour one, we had Katie Bracken on from UAH softball. UAH taking on North Georgia today, 3 o'clock, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We'll have that game for you from Toyota Field. Also coming up tonight to close it all down, 6:30, Alabama taking on Jack State. And yes, you're right. When we say they are playing at Toyota Field, home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, that's exactly what we mean. They have literally taken up the infield grass. They've moved home plate back a little bit closer, and they have made a softball field, and they did this in 2 days. Because remember, North Alabama and Army played baseball, played a series, wrapped up that series on Sunday. Then they went to work and turned that field in on Monday. Well, they did it on Sunday and Monday because today's Tuesday. So they did it in 48 hours or whatever to get that field ready to be played today at Toyota Field. So kudos to everybody getting this done because this game was originally supposed to be played tomorrow. Mother Nature is saying, I may drop some snow on you, so we're not going to be able to play it Wednesday. We're going to do it on Tuesday.
Yeah, no doubt. And our next guest, as we said, he has been part of this Alabama softball program since its inception. He was the assistant coach for 3 seasons before taking over as head coach in 99. And then the trips to Oklahoma City began in the year 2000. A 15-time College World Series participant, national champions in 2012, the first SEC school to ever do so. And now he's bringing his squad to the Rocket City, to Toyota Field tonight to play against rival Jack State. It's going to be a high-level softball game, and Patrick Murphy has been kind enough to carve out some time this morning to talk Alabama softball and this Rocket City showcase on 97.7 The Zone. Coach, with Drew and Scott, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. And after you said all that stuff about the field crew, those are the people I guess I need to thank a bunch tonight. But we're so excited about this. I know that area, Huntsville and Madison, just do a great job with sporting events. You know, obviously Alabama basketball's come up. Alabama baseball has absolutely loved their time at the Trash Panda Stadium. And, you know, now it's the first for us. And I don't think it's any secret that, you know, they want the SEC softball tournament up there. And I am in favor of it. So this is kind of like the dress rehearsal. And I hope, you know, I can report back to a lot of my colleagues in the SEC that this was an awesome venue. And just, you know, the weather we can't control, obviously, in early or late February. But everything else, I think, is going to be awesome. So we can't wait to get up there.
Yeah, when this was first approached to you to come up here and play, you know, it's not just Alabama. I mean, this is a 3-day event. There's a lot of college teams coming up and playing. When you were approached about this, what were your initial thoughts?
Oh, I was in 100%. I think, you know, when Hoover hosted the World University Games, the World Games a couple summers ago.
That's right.
They had softball at the Hoover Met, and you know when we walked in for the gold medal game, there was 8,000 people. They had reconfigured their field. You know, like you just said, that's what the Trash Pandas were doing. They moved home plate a little bit closer because you couldn't have, you know, 75 feet, 60 feet between home plate and the backstop. That's too far for softball. And, you know, they did a nice outfield fence, and it was just unbelievable. And all the ladies from USA were just, they couldn't say enough good things about the experience and the fans. And I'm hoping tonight that's the same thing because, you know, softball in Alabama has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, from day one. And this is 29 years for me. And it's just been unbelievable. And this is just kind of like the next evolution in the sport, I think. And hopefully the crowd will be excited and we'll put on a good show.
Well, and Coach, talk about this team, Team 29, 9 new pieces. You're coming together. You had a really good opening weekend at the Mike Kendrea Classic. Then this past weekend over at the Shriners Classic in Clearwater, very close to being another 4-1 weekend, but high-level softball, one hit, one pitch. I know it was a little bit frustrating for the young ladies, so close to being maybe 8-2 right now, but coming in 5-5. What did you find? What have you found out about your squad so far?
Well, you're exactly right. And, on the way home, you start thinking about all kinds of plays and if this would have happened and this would have happened. And you're right. We had leads in 3 of the losses in the 6th inning.
That's right.
And, all of the teams there are legit. So, I mean, everybody will probably play in the NCAA tournament. The 5 that we played, I would say that they all would be a regional team. So it's not easy because it's one right after the other. And, it's almost like SEC, but you have 2 hours between games. So you either flush it or it's going to stay with you, when you lose. But I thought every time we went out there, like the UCLA game, we're up 3-0 in the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
They put together one inning, and the Oklahoma State were up 3-1 in the 7th. Liberty were up 5-3 in the 6th. So we need to learn to win those close games and shut the door in the 6th and 7th inning. I thought we hit pretty good. We chased the UCLA starter, the Oklahoma State starter, the Ohio State starter. So and like you said too, 9 new kids. We're learning what people can do in tight situations, and I'd rather do it now than in May, because we've started years before. We were 29-0, 33-0, 32-0, and we didn't really face adversity until April. So that's not the case with this team.
Yeah. Softball is such a long season, though, too. And you played a lot of games in one area, and you played a lot. I mean, it goes so fast, but yet it's still a long season. And you come out of this classic knowing you still have a ton of softball games left. What kind of mentality, though, do you have to have as a coach not to overreact to like a 5 or 6 game stretch that you had in a weekend?
Oh, no, you can't, because, there's 13, 14 games in football, and we play 66 to 70.
Yeah.
So you can't get too high or too low. And, you've heard the old saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's absolutely true in softball and baseball. And one weekend does not kill a season. So, and I said, I think after the UCLA game, we always look at the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture in mind? Because it's not like right now and everybody was hurting and they felt bad, but we played a good team. They were undefeated. They're number 4. We were toe to toe right there with them. So see the bigger picture and let's do things better the next game. And, I thought we progressively got better and better because the infield defense Sunday night was incredible. They made play after play after play. So it's just a work in progress, and we will get better.
And then another cool thing, and you've done this with a lot of your players, you take some of them to their hometowns or to their home areas. You've traveled. You love the Groter game of softball. You've got a young lady who's a freshman. I know she started the first couple of games, and I was tweeting about how she had played well. Maury Hubbard, who is from Huntsville High, I know she's from this area. She'll have a ton of fans and family, I'm sure, in the stands tonight, Coach. But I love the fact that how you let these young ladies come back to their home areas, hometowns, and play in front of their families.
Yeah, and she's a great, great young lady with a great family. And I texted her last night about 9:00, and I said, Marty, hey, just FYI, you're starting tomorrow night. No pressure. I said, have fun, and she's been one of the pleasant surprises. Seriously. She's just been steady Eddie, works her tail off and everything. Hopefully she'll show off a little pop she's got, because she does have some pop in her bat. And then Larissa Pruitt, from down the road in Hartsville.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Just, gosh, she was terrific basically all season so far. And, the last game out in Arizona, she was 4 for 4 with 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs. The leadoff was 3 for 3 with a walk, 4 runs scored. And that's the game that Audrey Vandergriff set the school record for stolen bases. But every time Audrey got to second, Larissa hit her in. And we need that 1-2 punch in the order. And they're both lefties. They're both green light girls. They're faster than heck. And then they kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. So both of those kids from North Alabama have just been terrific for us.
Yeah, well, you bring up Audrey Vandergriff.
Well, what a start to her.
Yeah,
career.
what a start. And
Dynamic.
wow. Do you now give her the green light to do what she wants to do on there? I'll leave it up to her best call, I should say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, at the beginning of in January, probably second week, all the hitters are around, and it's 17 hitters. We have 15 position players and 2 pitchers that hit. But everybody needs to know who has the green light, because if you're up to bat and they throw a changeup on the first pitch and you foul it off, I am not going to be happy, because the green light girl could have stolen on that pitch easily. Right? So, like for Larissa, it's probably the toughest for her, because here she is in the 2-hole. She's left-handed. And, as at first, she might have to take a pitch or two to allow her to steal. And there's a lot of times where in the past I've had the 2-hole for me is the most important hitter, because she might have to hit 0-2 a lot. And she can't have a problem with that, because we have somebody fast sitting at second base that's in scoring position. So Larissa's learned the spot. She got really good bat to ball skills. She doesn't strike out a lot. She can hit high pitch. So those two are like tonight. If you guys, and I think there's tickets left, so we would love. What is the seat? 6,000?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it's sold out, it would be the largest crowd ever for a college softball game in the state of Alabama.
Holy cow!
If somebody's at home listening, saying, "Man, should we do this?" Come on, do it. Come on out. Watch 2 really good teams. Jacksonville State, I think, 7-2.
Yes.
So they've had a good start, and they always play us tough, and it's always a good game. But you're going to see high level softball on both sides.
You certainly will. And Coach, I've got to inform you that this is awesome, because we have 2 Northern Iowa grads talking to one another.
Yes.
Scott Tyson, my partner, is a Northern Iowa grad. And of course, you've got a great transfer, Alexis Papilla. She's done a great job coming from Northern Iowa so far, impacting the lineup.
I mean, to tell you, she has been incredible. And, we do something called Intangible Week. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this, but in the preseason, I give them a week. And I'll say, okay, next Sunday, you're going to tell everybody what your intangible is for the season. So everybody on the team, including the coaches, stand up in front of everybody and say, I will, and then say your intangible. And intangible is something that you can't see, touch, or feel. A tangible thing is you can hit, you can throw, you can run, you can play defense. That's easy, right? But I want to know when what hits the fan, what are you going to bring to the team? What, that I don't know, that I can't see. So everybody has a week to think about it. And then on that Sunday, they come up in front and they say it out loud. I write it all down. And then I do a poster for the season, put it up in the clubhouse. And it's a reminder for everybody. And it's also a way for everybody on the team to hold everybody else accountable. Because if you're going to say it out loud in front of everybody, you damn well better live up to your intangible, right? But Papillo gets up, and hers is, and I have to paraphrase a little. She says, I hope you guys get to meet her tonight, but she says, give me the bat. I'm about to do damage. And, some other things in there.
Yes.
But she has done that almost every single time. Like, Sunday night, Larissa Pruitt leads off an inning with the double down the left field line, opposite field. The next pitch, Papillo, double down the left field line, scores the first run, and we knocked out the starter that inning. So she wants the bat in her hand, which is what a hitting person wants. You want somebody that wants to be up to bat with the bases loaded, with second and third, down by a run, whatever inning. Not somebody that wants to shy away from that and say, oh boy, maybe he'll pinch hit me here. You don't want that. You want the kid that says, give me the bat. I'm going to do damage. And she's been doing that since day one.
She really has. And you've certainly been, since day one, been doing a great job at Alabama. Go ahead,
Coach. I want to ask you this. You have been around the game of college softball for a while now, and your voice, means a little bit of something. That there's a lot of talk about that we start the college softball season a little too early. That there are some coaches across the country that say, hey, why not start it in March? That February is a little hard. You got to play a lot of road games. I mean, even you guys are on the road twice now in big classics. It's hard. Do you like starting this college softball season in the middle of February?
Well, there's two ways to look at it, really, because, and I feel for Midwest and New England schools, because you're right. They, like Iowa, Michigan State, Minnesota, whoever, Wisconsin, they're on the road for basically 6 weekends. And like North Dakota State one year, and I'm good friends with their coach.
Yeah.
He played 12 home games.
Wow.
In a season.
Wow.
12. And, got snowed out in April. So it is difficult. But if you look on the other side of it, if we move it back, say March 1st, now when we're playing in June, we're dying of heat and humidity, and you definitely have to play at, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night because it's so dang hot. So there's, you can look at it both ways. And baseball, they only start a week after us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that their postseason goes a little bit longer, basically into late June. So pros and cons either way.
Yeah.
I guess whoever makes the decision, but.
Well, Coach, we're glad you made the decision to come to the Rocket City. We're honored to have the Crimson Tide playing tonight at 6:30 against Jack State. Should be a high-level softball game. We think hopefully we can pack the park with 6,000 plus, and of course the homecoming from Marie Hubbard and Larissa Pruitt from Huntsville and Hartselle, respectively. We wish you nothing but the best and good luck. And I know it's a busy schedule. We really appreciate you taking the time to carve out and talk some Alabama softball with us this morning. It's always an honor to have you on the show. And again, good luck tonight.
Yeah, let's do it again, and thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Coach. Patrick Murphy with us. Let's get that final break in.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Hartselle, 31 and 36. No injury that I know of. Got one on Moore's Mill near Countess Road. That one reported injury. And we're seeing backup 565 eastbound around Mooresville Road. Had a couple of tractor trailers involved in a wreck there. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. Ask about their military, law enforcement, and senior discounts at D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Filling the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. On your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What a good show, Scott.
Of course it is. Anytime you
got to talk to a prominent Northern Iowa alum there.
You know what? We've talked a few times about being that and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, it's going to be great to have them out here tonight, Alabama and Jack State. And then, of course,
because the last time they came
up,
up,
be bringing a high-level Division II game, too, with you.
Yeah, the last time they came up here, remember, they played, I believe, at the Sportsplex.
Yeah, that's right.
They came over, and I forget who they played at the Sports. Was it Lipscomb? I forget who they played, but they played somebody over at the Sportsplex. And then they've been to Albertville a couple times.
Yeah, Albertville to their amazing facility. I believe they played Jack State over there as well.
Yeah, so it's Jack State 6:30, UAH 3 o'clock, and Alabama A&M, whoever they're playing, we don't know. Because even Alabama A&M on their schedule doesn't even know who they're playing.
It's cold.
We'd like to tell you, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe
continue to monitor the high school basketball. A lot of people starting to punch tickets. Gunnersville, the boys punched their tickets. Scottsboro ladies as well yesterday to Birmingham.
Yes. Today's the last day for hoops at Wallace State. They're all done after today. Jack State has a few more days left. We'll keep talking about it. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control.